Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Most Accurate Podcast. I am your host, Jennifer Akins. With me for, I guess, the 11th week straight, in season wise, Justin Edwards. Justin, how's it going? Happy Tuesday.
Yeah, it's good. It's snowy,
Is it really?
Yeah.
82 degrees here in Denver today.
What? Well,
Actually, I'm sorry, 81. Misspoke.
big difference.
That is the high. Yeah, that's the high today. Wow, you guys got some snow, huh? I guess I missed that.
I went trudging around yesterday. I haven't got my walk in today. I was waiting until after the pod.
Okay. Does that mean you got your stash article in already?
It's close. I was working on it as we were getting into this.
Right, I hear you. All of my articles are in for today, so I could go take a walk after this if I so desire, in the balmy weather here in mid-November in Colorado. Anyway, welcome to the streaming show, everybody. Welcome to week 11. We are we're fully into the double-digit territory now. No turning back.
Trucking.
We are trucking. We're like 3 to 4 weeks away from the fantasy playoffs, depending on your specific league. For those who happen to be new in week 11, this is our streaming show. We go over quarterbacks, tight ends, kickers, and defenses to stream. We only have 2 teams on a bye this week, so people shouldn't be hurting too badly, which is a good thing because my streaming options here are not fantabulous. So hopefully everyone is set there and doesn't need to do this. But if you do, we have you covered. Justin and I will. Oh, wow. You know what? Hold on a second. I somehow closed the tab for the show sheet, which is not good for me.
We'll just have to go off memory.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I do have a pretty good memory, but not the best short-term memory out there.
That'd be a stretch.
Yeah. And of course, it's making me log back into Google. Live,
hey, at least
folks.
We're here. You remember a few weeks ago when StreamYard just closed on me out of nowhere?
Yes, I do remember that. All right.
Like, oh, okay.
We are back in business with the show sheet here. Yeah, I definitely can't remember anything as far as guys we had last week and all of that. But let's get to that. Recap from week 10. Quarterbacks. I only had 3, and then I had one in parentheses who was awful. So I'm glad he was in parentheses.
Right.
But not a horrible week. I mean, no, we only had, so basically my 3 were JJ McCarthy, Marcus Mariota, and Michael Penix. Marcus Mariota was the QB 12, so at least I did have one fantasy QB 1 there. He had 18.7. McCarthy was the QB 16 with 14.7 points. Penix was QB 19 with 11. And then Aaron Rodgers was, if you're truly desperate, horrible matchup. And he was the QB 24 with 6.4 points. So it was an all righty week for quarterbacks. How'd we do in tight end? I think you did a lot better, actually.
Yeah, I crushed. This might have been my best tight end streaming week ever, actually. I was texting you. I was texting Jen yesterday. It was like, I hope nobody catches any passes on Monday Night Football because I was set up so well.
Listen, you were close. There were probably
nobody caught anything.
Nobody caught anything. That was a snoozer. And thanks to YouTube TV, I actually paid for that snoozer. I paid $4.99 to watch that game, and I turned it off in the third quarter.
Yeah.
So,
as I'm sure a lot of people did, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, tight ends were good. Our top play of the week was actually the worst play. Colston Loveland scored 7.5 points, but he was still the tight end 15. And then it all goes uphill from here. Theo Johnson, 11 points, was the tight end 8. K. Dotton, 12.7 points, was the tight end 6. Dalton Schultz, 14.8 points, was the tight end 4. And Juwan Johnson, 17.2 points as the tight end 3. So our worst guy was the tight end 15. And we got 4 top 8 options. This has to be the best week I've ever had.
That's beautiful. I've probably had, back when I was the tight end person, when Brandon ran this show, I think I had some good weeks, but that is fantastic. So you are welcome to go ahead and toot your own horn, pat yourself on the back, do all the things. That's fantastic. Kicker wise, was really weird. It was a stars and scrubs week for me. My number 1 recommendation was Jason Myers. If you remember, my Halloween is gone, but Myers will still strike.
I remember.
He was the kicker 1 with 14 points. So
yeah, that'll do.
I will go ahead and toot my own horn for that.
Right.
The rest was kind of ugly though. Cairo Santos was tied for kicker 11, which is fine. You're still getting a kicker 1 performance there with 6 points. And then Matt Prater, Brandon McManus, and Ryan Fitzgerald all tied for kicker 25 with 1 point. So yeah, not pretty. But I did get the number 1 overall guy of the week. So
right. And he was your main guy too. So it's not like just some throwaway. You were like, this is the play of the week. And then it was literally the play of the week.
So I will once again count that as me being awesome. All right, go ahead for defenses.
Defense pretty middling. We had the Browns and the Panthers scored 5 points, which is fine. They were the defense 16. The Bears scored 7 points against the Giants. They were the defense 12. And then the Jets had those 2 return touchdowns against the Browns. So they put up 19 points and were the defense 2. So pretty middling unless you went down to the Jets and they were the defense 2. So you didn't lose the week because of DSTs last week. That's for sure.
Well, that's good. That's what we're here for. Right. All right, let's move on to the weird sport of the week. This week we have the World Gravy Wrestling Championships. Now, before you get too excited, this is not like Jello wrestling. This is not chicks in bikinis wrestling in Jello. Unfortunately, for those of you that are running to YouTube to look up the videos. I actually watched the video. It's actually amusing though. It's a bunch of people and it's in England basically. Hold on, let me actually pull up the real thing before I just okay. So it is in Lancashire, England, basically. And people dress in like costumes. You've got the tutus. It's basically Halloween, but so gravy it's not your traditional like American turkey gravy. It is a mildly spiced, vegan-friendly sauce with a tangy vinegar base. It almost looks like barbecue sauce, like a light, like a Carolina barbecue sauce, but it's brown. If that makes sense there. So yeah, they all get dressed up. It's for charity. There's a ton of different you get points for best dress, comedic effect, entertainment, wrestling ability. But yeah, there is a video on YouTube if people, I'm sure there's more than one. People want to check it out. And that's it. I mean, it's not that exciting, but it's something. Like I said, after years and years of doing this, it's getting tougher. It's funny. I was preparing last night, and my husband came in, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to find it." He's like, "Oh, I've got a good one." And then he named some. I'm like, "God, I did that like 3 years ago, dude. Like, that's not. Come on, you got. We need like legit obscure at this point." But yeah, so there's the gravy. I mean, I would do it. I would do it. I'm not a great wrestler. Like, I understand the concept. You have to get low and like all of that. Like, I understand it. But like when faced with actually wrestling a human, like I always just get pinned very quickly. I don't know why. And like I said,
quick match.
Yeah, like I do understand, what you're supposed to do, right? I understand you get down low, you go for the legs. Like I get all of it. But when faced with the situation, I just get pinned. So I would not be great. So if anyone wants to sign up to play against me, you're probably guaranteed to win there in the World Gravy Wrestling Championships. All right. So that's that. Let's move on to what the people came for, and that is streamers. Remind everybody that all streamers that we go over here are 40% or under rostered in Yahoo leagues. So if someone that you're looking for is not there or they're like 50% rostered, still take them. We just can't talk about them.
Yeah. Rules are rules.
Rules are rules, and we're very strict here at the Most Accurate Podcast. Justin and I are the strictest of the strict when it comes to this whole thing. I do want to point out one thing. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to point that out because I might be wrong. I just we have a company league here, the BetSperts company league. And I think that my team might be in first place, but I'm going to double check before I say such an event. We are Andy Molitor and I. We are co-captains for this team. We are in first place right now, and I do want to say, if anyone from the BetSperts group here is watching or listening, Andy and I got ridiculed for our first round pick of Amon-Ra St. Brown, ridiculed by Connor Allen and Ryan Noonan. Endlessly throughout the draft, and we are in first place. And if I'm looking right now at the thing here, let's see. Ryan Noonan, he's in 6th place, and Connor's in 10th. So suck it, guys, because our team is in first place, Andy and I. All right, let's get to the streamers here. Quarterbacks, not a great week. It's pretty ugly, not going to lie. I only have 3 options. They're all fine, but hopefully you have someone better. My first option is Marcus Mariota. Again, he is on the road in Miami. He is 14% rostered at the moment. Last week, he did all right? He had 213 yards and 2 touchdowns. But more importantly, so he had 22 rushing yards.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota has had at least 20 rushing yards in every game that he has started this season. So you're looking at 2 points right there before you even start.
He's a little diet Jaden Daniels. I don't know why.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that's where he is. So you're looking at you get the rushing juiciness there as well. Miami's 23rd against the quarterback. Yes, they had a great week last week against Josh Allen. I don't expect a repeat stout performance from the Miami defense. As a Miami Dolphin fan, I can assure you all that that's not that
was a rarity.
It was a rarity, and I loved every second of it. However, we can't count on that again. So Marcus Mariota he's my number 1 guy there. Right behind him, but not by far, is Aaron Rodgers against Cincinnati. He is right at 40% rostered, so he counts. He's coming off a brutal outing. He was absolutely inaccurate. He fumbled. I think he actually had 2 fumbles, but one was a Calvin Austin. Like, it wasn't really his deal. All I can say is I do remember the horrifically overthrown pass to DK Metcalf, which crushed many people out there. But yeah, he was just inaccurate. It was not a good game for him. He's got the Bengals to get back on track. They're 31st. Yeah, they're 31st against the quarterback. They're giving up 22.5 fantasy points a week to the quarterback. And the Bengals right now are allowing the most points in the NFL for teams as a whole. They're allowing 33.3 points per game to opposing teams.
It's very fun to watch every week. It's great.
So there you go. Aaron Rodgers is my second guy there. Third guy is a little bit farther down the list if you're desperate, and that's Geno Smith against Dallas. He is 15% rostered. He had a really bad game against Denver last week, but it was Denver and it was here in the Mile High City, which is a tough place to play. The Cowboys are a cure-all, right? I mean, they're 32nd. They're dead last against the quarterback. And it's at home at prime time on Monday Night Football. So you could do worse than Geno. I mean, I don't love the play, but if Mariota and Rodgers are unavailable or you're just not feeling either one of them, I think Geno will be fine.
Yeah. Good super flex option.
yeah. Super flex or QB2 option. There you go. So those are my quarterbacks. Let's take a question or two before we get to tight ends. We've got our friend Samuel Burks here.
What's up,
Burrow? Let's see. Let's actually do this. All right. Burrow, Daniels, will they return in the fantasy season? Should I get them off waivers? Is it worth doing with limited ads remaining? I mean, obviously, Justin and I don't know any more than anybody else as far as that goes. So that's tough.
The caveat at the end there, where you have limited ads, makes me kind of want to fade. I think they're both in situations where even if they are healthy here in a few weeks, Burrow just got his 21-day window opened and could start as soon as Thanksgiving, I guess. But if the Bengals lose the next 2 games, they're like 3-8, and at that point, why would you do that? And the same thing with Jaden Daniels. Yeah. The Commanders only have 3 wins too, right? So if he's healthy by week 15, which would be great for our fantasy playoffs, but if they still have 3 or 4 wins, what's the point in rushing them back when you could just have them healthy next year? So
yeah, if I was the coach / trainer / whatever, I'd keep them both out.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're in contention, there's absolutely no reason for it. So, if you have limited ads remaining, then I would save them for someone that you're actually going to play.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
That is guaranteed to be there. All right. Let's see. Hello, Big Bando. What do you got here? 9-1. Nice. Should I move Garrett Wilson for Pickens and a first? What if it was a second instead? Yeah, I mean, Garrett Wilson is hurt and got a big fat goose egg last week.
Yeah, and even if he does return, he's still going to have Justin Fields or Tyrod Taylor to throw him the ball. You have to. I'm guessing this is a dynasty league. If you're already 9-1 and you can get Pickens and a first, I mean, for sure, because you're helping your team right now and you're looking down the line for more youth. With a second, it makes it a little sketchier, but I probably still would, honestly.
All right, there you had it. Justin's the dynasty.
Go get that shit.
Justin is the dynasty guy amongst between he and I,
Yeah.
which is not a very difficult fight to win there. All right, let's go to tight end. Justin, who did you bring for us in the streaming tight end department this week?
I know it's a little sketchier this week. As we mentioned, it was a good week last week, and 4 of those guys from last week are now over 40% rostered. So 4 graduations in a week is a little hard to traverse, but I've got at least some decent options here. I think the best option this week, particularly if you're just looking for a floor play, is Dalton Schultz. He plays in Tennessee against the Titans. He had a 14.8 point performance last week. That was obviously with Davis Mills, but he's also had 6 or more targets in almost every game of the season, regardless of Stroud playing the whole game or not at all, or half the game or what have you. I still think he can probably operate as the number 2 pass catcher behind Nico Collins, at least in the short term. Jaden Higgins, Christian Kirk, and Xavier Hutchinson all have a yards per route run right around 1, like 1.0, which is not fantastic for any wide receiver. And even Dalton Schultz is up way closer to 2 than any of those guys. So I think Schultz will probably still operate as the number 2 pass catcher here, at least in the short term, and probably for the rest of the season. Honestly, wow. Having trouble with words today. Behind him, it gets deep pretty quick. I've got Mason Taylor here against the Patriots. He had very close to a goose egg last week. As we mentioned, Garrett Wilson is at least questionable. Kind of the same thing we were talking about with Burrow and Daniels. Why rush Garrett Wilson back if he's not ready for this matchup, which would kind of leave Mason Taylor as like the number 1 pass catching option, which is hilarious. Obviously, Justin Fields looked pretty terrible again last week, but the defense, special teams did score 2 touchdowns, so they really didn't have to rely on the pass at all to pull out that victory against the lowly Browns. Mason Taylor is available in 83% of leagues. I would still prefer Dalton Schultz, who is available in 65% of leagues. For the deeper guys, I can kind of go a little quicker here because it gets gross really quick. We've got Luke Musgrave here against the Giants. He's 85% available. Obviously, he was never going to step into that exact Tucker Kraft role, but his routes were like nowhere near how they were using Tucker Kraft. He was more of like he had 1 target on a block and release. His other 2 targets were just little 5-6 yard hitches. He's obviously not going to get the same sort of yards after catch as Tucker Kraft was doing, but Musgrave makes a pretty decent floor play. His ceiling is entirely tied to whether or not he scores a touchdown. So we'll see if the Packers can bounce back against the Giants in week 11. Going about as deep, we've got AJ Barner here, who did get a goose egg last week. They also scored 2 defensive touchdowns.
I think he put something up there.
Oh no, that's right. He got 0.3 points because he had 2
I started him,
pushes.
so I can tell you
no targets, but 2 rush attempts. That was actually his 5th and 6th rush attempt on the season, and he has a tush-push touchdown. Does AJ Barner?
Yeah, he was a desperate flex option for me in one of my leagues. So I'm aware that it wasn't a full-fledged goose egg, but it was not pretty.
It was pretty dang close. I mean, it was a good spot, but Sam Darnold had 12 dropbacks. Yeah. That's all they had to muster. You can't 40 whatever points last week. They do get the Rams this week, though. The Rams are pretty decent against opposing offenses, but they do rank 23rd against wide receivers and tight ends in AFPA. And we should assume that this game is going to be a lot closer than last week when they were up 35-0 with like 9 minutes left in the second quarter. I don't think that's going to happen against the Rams. Let's hope. So Barner's a desperation play. Should be in a better spot than he was last week, at least. He's available in 90% of leagues. And all the way down at the bottom, we've got Chig Okonkwo versus the Texans. That Titans-Texans matchup we talked about with Schultz. This is a very deep league play. I would hope that you can muster the other guys in your league. But Chig's out there, and if you are this deep and don't feel like going with Okonkwo, super desperate, Dawson Knox could be in an interesting spot. It looks like Dalton Kincaid is week to week. But put a little bow on it. Dalton Schultz with a bullet here. Just play Dalton Schultz. If you can't get to Dalton Schultz, Mason Taylor is a fine floor play at 83% available. And then Luke Musgrave, AJ Barner, and Chig Okonkwo are all fine desperation plays, but I wouldn't love to go down there if you don't have to.
Sounds good. Sound advice.
It sounds like something.
It is something. Sam has another question here. Any word on Gadsden of the injury report? I did see it is not a knee like they originally thought. It is a bruised quad. So that to me is pretty positive. I mean,
yeah, he's still day to day as far as I saw, but
yeah, he's still day to day. But a quad instead of a knee. Yeah, I think a quad instead of a knee is at least a positive direction there for him.
Yeah, I don't remember who the Chargers are playing. Do you?
No.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah, I don't because I actually I can look real quick.
It's the Jaguars. They're not.
Oh.
They're not anyone to bench people against.
Okay. All right, let's get to some kicker love because I'm sure. Oh, I didn't even write down the kickers on the. I have notes, but I didn't. I just realized I didn't write it on the show sheet, but I definitely have it on my little. So
I'll be surprised too. I'm the listener.
Yeah.
Now.
All right, you're a listener. Like I said, it is not a pretty week. Weirdly, so one of the metrics that I go on is team totals, and I pulled it up this week, and I was just like, what? Like just before I even start. The teams at the top of the list here, the Steelers are the number one team total of the week. I mean, that's not normal, right? Like you would never think.
So it's not a very explosive week.
Right. You pull up week 11, you're like, sweet. And then you're like, wait a minute. The Steelers are the number one team followed by the Patriots. Like it doesn't make any sense, but that's where we are. So on that note, Chris Boswell is obviously very, very well rostered over the 40%. So he's not eligible. However, first guy I have here is Andres Borregales, who I don't know if you saw my horrible attempt this morning at my pun for my kicker streaming. I
saw it. I get it.
Yeah, Andres Borregales, Aurora Borealis. I tried. It was hard, nice. But I got there. So go check that out, people. But yeah, so the number one streamer is Andres Borregales at home against the Jets. They have the highest spread of the week at 11.5 points. And then they have the second highest team total at 27.5. He is free in 94% of rosters. Ugly game, ugly AFCs. Actually, I noticed most games are divisional games. I don't know if that's on purpose and I'm just being silly. Like that's a thing that everyone knows that I don't.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But we'll just doing these.
You're right, though.
Doing the kicker, I'm like, every one of them's a division game. Almost everyone. Anyway, that is so Andres Borregales against the Jets. He's my number one streamer of the week. Second, we have Will Reichert against the Bears, once again a divisional game at home. He is right at the 40% line, but he counts. The Vikings are favored by 3, so they're favored by a field goal in that one with a 25.75 team total. Then we go down to the three unknowns, 3 people that you probably, Justin, did not even know were kicking in the NFL.
That's probably 3 a good bet.
Yes, I have 3 of them. The third guy on my list is Harrison Mevis.
That's a made-up name.
Mevis. Yeah, no, he's real.
You made that up.
He's real, and he is the kicker right now for the Rams because Joshua Carty is a healthy scratch. He's working on the yips, and they sat him. And I honestly somehow didn't know that until this morning. But and Mevis kicked last week too, and I still somehow didn't know that. But anyway, the Rams are favored by 2.5, and they've got a 25.5 team total. And I did look, and Sean McVay has expressed that it's going to be Mevis again this week. They're going to keep working with Carty, and he says he's not losing his roster spot though. Like they are keeping him, which is rare. Like usually. Yeah. Kickers are expendable. Like you're done. Like if you have the yips or you're not here, you're out, and we're bringing in a free agent. But they're going to work with Carty, keeping him, and then they have this Harrison Mevis guy, which, by the way, his photo, he looks like he's 60. And then once I got closer, I realized he didn't. But from far away, I was like, who did they bring in?
Whose dad is this?
Yeah, I was exactly. And then I was like, oh, okay. The close-up picture is not as aging of Mr. Mevis. So that's the third guy. Fourth guy is Riley Patterson, who, once again, not sure if you knew that, but he's kicking right now for the Falcons, who I believe are on their 4th kicker of the season. Yeah, I mean, they just keep swapping them out. And I mean, Younghoe Koo is now kicking for the Giants. Like it's weird, very weird. But anyway, Riley Patterson is at home against the Commanders, and he is 99% free there. Oh, by the way, Mevis is 100% free. So you can get him in any league you want.
That's because you made him up.
I know, right? But Riley Patterson is 1% rostered. They are favored by 2.5 as well, with a 25-point team total. And then I grabbed a fifth guy because why not? Because why not have three guys that are under 1% rostered? And that's Matthew Wright on the road against the Titans. We've talked about this game a couple times. Now, Kaimi Fairbairn may be back. Still TBD. So if Fairbairn's back, obviously Matthew Wright is not a play. But if he's out again, we have Matthew Wright, who is 1% rostered as well. And they are favored by 7.5 over the Titans with a 23.5 team total. So to give you the full list, just in case, people don't know who anybody is. I mean, honestly, Andres Borregales, Will Reichard, Harrison Mevis, Riley Patterson, and Matthew Wright. These are all real NFL players, I promise. All right. Let's see. We've got Tom GI. Would you start Rashee Rice against Denver or Quentin Johnston against the Jags? PPR. Tom, we don't normally do start sits on this because it is only Tuesday morning, but we will for you because why not? Rashee Rice against Denver is not fantastic, but Johnston, I don't know.
I'd probably start Rashee Rice.
Yeah, I mean, I would just go with. I mean, obviously the matchup is better for Johnston, right. But I think just player wise and volume wise, I'd probably stick with Rice.
In a full PPR, I'd probably just rather lead with the guy who is more likely to get like 10 to 12 targets, and that's definitely Rashee Rice.
Yeah. Okay, we have one more here. Should I trade? I think
it's Woody.
Woody Marks, yeah, for Khalil Shakir. I mean, without knowing what else you have going on, it's tough, but
yeah,
I don't hate it. I mean,
I like Woody Marks. I personally wouldn't because I like Woody Marks a lot. But
I mean,
if you need like a high floor, low ceiling guy in your wide receiver room.
I mean, if you have running back, excuse me.
If you have running back depth, then that changes things. She's leaving.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So there you go. If you can afford to give up Marks, then absolutely. Yeah, right. And I think Shakira's, but I mean, I think they're both kind of similar. Like, I mean, they're not, but my point is like production wise, like neither of them are going to light up a scoreboard and neither of them are going to get you a 0. You just it just depends.
Right.
Does that make sense? All right. Why don't you throw out some defenses for us, Justin?
Let's get DST cooking. I only brought 3 this week, but as we both mentioned, there's not a lot of like great matchups this week. But a couple of these are like 10% rostered, so they should work just fine. The first one I've got is the Falcons hosting the Carolina Panthers. They are 12% rostered, so they are free in 88% of leagues. Over the last 2 weeks, the Falcons have racked up 13 sacks and 4 turnovers against the Patriots and the Colts. These are the last 2 weeks. These are 2 far better offenses and offensive lines than what Carolina is rolling out. In that same 2-week time period, Bryce Young has thrown for a total of 226 yards, 2 interceptions, and taken 3 sacks. The Panthers did win this matchup 30-0 way back in week 3, but they have scored 17 or fewer points in 5 games since then, and they rank 29th in schedule-adjusted fantasy points allowed to opposing defenses. Up next, we've got the Bears heading to Minnesota, in what should be a pretty interesting game. JJ McCarthy has taken 15 sacks on 134 dropbacks, or 1 every 8.8 dropbacks. This is easily the worst rate in the league, while his 24.6% pressure to sack rate is the 3rd highest in the league, behind Cam Ward and Geno Smith. JJ also has the 3rd highest turnover-worthy play rate at 5.5%, behind only Davis Mills and Jake Browning. With McCarthy and Carson Wentz combined efforts, the Vikings rank 30th in schedule-adjusted fantasy points allowed to opposing defenses. The Bears are available in 71% of Yahoo leagues. And wrapping up these 3 quick hitters, we have the moribund Cowboys defense heading to Las Vegas to take on the Raiders. But as we just mentioned in regards to JJ, Geno Smith has the 2nd highest pressure to sack rate in the league. Opposing defenses are averaging 10.3 fantasy points against the Raiders, while 6 of their opponents have scored in the double digits to this point. Cowboys defense has obviously not been great. and the Raiders offense has been just as bad. And they also lost another offensive lineman to season-ending IR in Week 10. So I think my favorite of these three is definitely the Falcons taking on the Panthers. They are 88% available. The Bears at the Vikings, 71% available. And if for some reason you can't get either of those two and you want to get down in the ditches, down in the trenches, you can pick the Cowboys at 8% rostered.
I would like to say a disclaimer here. I don't know why I wrote down Washington, but it's Carolina with Atlanta's playing. Like I was talking like they're playing the Commanders earlier with Riley Patterson. Yeah. And then you were like, oh, the Falcons. And I was like, wait a minute. And I knew that. Somehow I wrote Washington, but I knew it was the Panthers because like I said, there's a ton of division games. So I would like to apologize. I did say Washington when it was not. It was the Panthers. All right, let's see. We got a couple more questions, and then we are up against it here. Let's see. Chase Brown, Jordan Addison, or Quentin? For what? Just starting?
Probably just like a flex. I would go with Chase Brown.
Yeah, me too. Yep, same. Okay. Last question. Cash Money 9709 was offered Saquon. Cash Money was offered Saquon for T/Jalen Warren. Would you take that? I have Puka, Amon, T, Diggs, JT. That was such a performance from JT. Warren, I wish I had him and I don't. Warren, Woody, Ramondre, full PPR 10. Person, thanks. I'm
probably fine with that. You've got Puka and Amon St. Brown to be your number two, your
right.
top
Yeah,
two of the
I'm
board.
fine with giving up T for sure. That doesn't bother me. Saquon's
he's gonna have that game though. One of these games.
Right, but we only have a few left, like before the playoffs. I mean, it's I mean, if you're in contention, I mean, honestly, so okay. Then you'd have JT and Saquon. Yeah, I mean, sure, go for it. I'd do it.
Yeah, I like it.
I think I'm just jealous. Lee, you missed kickers, my friend. We did kickers already, so you're gonna have to go back into the YouTube channel here, and or you can.
Here you've got Borregales, Reichert, Mevis, which is a made-up name, Patterson, and Matthew Wright.
There you go, Matthew Wright with an asterisk if there's no Kaimi Fairbairn.
Oh yeah, right.
But Borregales is my main guy. I would go get him if you can. Because somehow it's the second highest team total of the week, the Patriots. Right. Anyway, all right. We are out of here. Thank you all for joining us. As always, we will be here next Tuesday, same time, same channel. Go to 4for4. Check out all the content that not only Justin and I put out, but everybody else on our team. And we will see you guys next week in the streets of streaming.